Let me tell you something right now, and I need you to really sit with this before we even get into this reading. Because what came through today, and I mean the very second I sat down and connected into this energy, it hit different. Like the kind of energy that makes you stop and go, okay, something real is happening here. Something that was buried, something that was supposed to stay hidden, is cracking open right now whether this person wanted it to or not. Because here's what I'm already feeling before we even go deep. This person told people they're done. They said it out loud. Maybe to mutual friends, maybe to family, maybe they just quietly let it be known, we're finished, I've moved on, it is what it is. And they carried themselves like they believed every word of it. They showed up to places looking unbothered. They probably even posted something that was low-key for your attention. They gave people the performance. They gave everyone around them the version of the story that kept them looking like the one who walked away clean. But the energy doesn't lie. And honey, their energy is screaming. So if you've been second-guessing yourself, if you've been wondering whether what you felt between you two was even real, if you've been sitting in your own silence trying to convince yourself to just let it go, this reading is for you. Settle in. Because what I'm about to walk you through is not what this person wants you to know. But the universe? The universe has zero interest in protecting their pride right now. And neither do I. Let's get into it. The very first thing that came through for your situation is this overwhelming sense of someone who is trapped. Not physically, not in any kind of obvious way, but emotionally, energetically trapped in a cycle they cannot break no matter how many times they've tried. And they have tried. I want you to understand that. This person has genuinely made attempts to pull themselves away from you. They've had conversations with themselves in the mirror. They've gone out with other people. They've stayed busy. They've filled every quiet moment with noise because the quiet is where you live inside of them, and they know it. The quiet is where every memory, every version of you that they've held on to, just rises up without permission. And they hate that. They are so frustrated with themselves right now. Because the story they've told, to everyone, maybe even to you, was supposed to set them free. It was supposed to be the period at the end of the sentence. But instead it became this thing they now have to maintain. This exhausting front they have to keep up because too many people heard them say it. Too many people saw them act like you didn't matter. And now they're stuck inside of their own lie with nowhere to go. Feel that for a second. They built a cage out of their own pride. And you're on the outside living your life, and they are in there watching you through the bars they made themselves. Now let me tell you what this person is actually doing right now, because this part is important. They are checking on you. Quietly. In whatever way they can without it looking obvious. Whether that's through someone you both know, whether that's a quick look at your social media at 2 in the morning when they think nobody could possibly find out, whether it's just paying attention to any detail of your life that floats back to them through the grapevine, they are keeping tabs on you. They are keeping you close in the only way they allow themselves to right now, which is in secret. In the dark. In the moments when they don't have to explain it to anyone. And what they're seeing when they look at you is killing them softly. Because you're not falling apart. And maybe some part of them, and I say this gently because it's just the honest truth of human nature, some part of them expected that you would feel the loss more visibly. That maybe you'd reach out. That maybe they'd have the satisfaction of knowing that you needed them. But that's not what they're finding when they look. They're finding someone who is still standing. Someone who is moving, evolving, existing fully. And there is a war happening inside this person between genuine pride in you and genuine panic about what that means for them. Because if you're fine, then they can't tell themselves the story where you needed saving from this situation. They can't frame their exit as something that was for your good, or as something inevitable, or as something that was bound to happen. They have to sit with the rawer version of events. And that version is uncomfortable. Here's where it gets really real. The feelings this person has for you never left. I want to be crystal clear about this because I know some of you came into this reading hoping for validation and some of you came in hoping I'd tell you to run, and I need to just be honest with what the energy is showing me. The feelings did not go anywhere. They got dressed up in distance. They got repackaged as indifference. They got announced as closure. But underneath all of that performance, underneath every cool and casual thing this person has said about you or about the situation, the feeling is still there, breathing, very much alive. And what is that feeling? It's not just missing you, although they do miss you deeply. It's something more layered than that. It's the specific feeling of knowing that what they had with you was not ordinary. It's the feeling that no matter how many new experiences they chase or how many new people they let into their orbit, something is always slightly off because it isn't you. It doesn't feel like you. It doesn't move like you. It doesn't challenge them the way you did or soften them the way only you could. You were a standard. And now everything else feels like settling. And that realization is not soft. That realization hits this person at the worst possible times, in the most inconvenient moments, and there is nothing they can do to switch it off. I'm also picking up on something about the way this person talks about you when your name comes up around people who know you both. There is something very deliberate about how carefully they choose their words. They don't go in. They don't say negative things. Even if they tried at some point early on to maybe vent or spin a narrative, that energy has shifted. Now when you come up, they get quiet in a specific way. Or they say something neutral that's trying very hard to sound unbothered but lands just a little too carefully. Because the truth is they still feel protective of you. Even now. Even after whatever happened between you two. There is still this instinct in them that does not want your name spoken badly or your story twisted. And that is not how someone feels about someone they are truly over. That is how someone feels when they still have skin in the game. When they still, on some level, feel like you belong to them, or at least, like they still belong to you. And that part, that belonging, that's the part they haven't been able to sign over. That's the thing they can't shake loose no matter how many times they rehearse the idea of moving on. Let me talk about the regret for a moment because this is coming through very strongly. There is something specific that this person wishes they had done differently. Not in a vague, general kind of way, in a very specific, returns to it over and over kind of way. There was a moment. Maybe a conversation, maybe a choice. Maybe something they said or something they refused to say. And they replay it. They sit in it. They think about what would have happened if they had just shown up differently in that moment. If they had led with honesty instead of ego. If they had been brave enough to say the real thing instead of the safe thing. This regret is not dramatic, it doesn't consume their whole day every day. But it is consistent. It is the kind of quiet regret that shows up in still moments. That follows them into sleep sometimes. That makes them pause mid-sentence when something randomly reminds them of you. And they have never fully articulated this to anyone because to do so would mean admitting that they handled things in a way they're not proud of. And this person's pride is something they hold on to tightly. It is armor that they have spent a long time building. But that armor has cracks in it now. And the cracks are shaped exactly like you. Now I want to speak directly to those of you who have been going back and forth about whether to reach out, whether to leave space, whether to say something or keep your silence. Because this part of the energy is for you specifically. What I'm seeing is that the distance right now is not because the feeling is gone. The distance is a test of a different kind, not a test that this person consciously designed for you, but a test that life is running on both of you. A test about who you both are becoming separately. Because here's what I need you to understand. This person is not going to come back to you as the same version of themselves that left. Whatever is happening in their life right now, there is growth occurring. There is a breaking down of things that needed to break. And the same is true for you. The universe is not wasting this time, even though it might feel like wasted time. Even though some days it might feel like you're just standing still inside of a feeling that won't resolve. Everything happening right now on both sides of this is preparing something. Clearing something. Making space for either a real conversation that changes everything, or a level of closure that finally, truly, lands. But here is what I can tell you with confidence. This person is not at peace with where things stand. They are not sitting in easy, settled energy. They are sitting in something unresolved that they don't quite know what to do with. And the more time passes, the louder that unresolved feeling becomes. There's something else coming through that I have to say because it's sitting right in the front of this energy and I can't skip past it. This person is proud of you. And they would probably never say that out loud to you right now, maybe not ever, depending on how things unfold, but the feeling is there and it is genuine. Whatever you have been doing, whatever direction you have been moving in, whatever version of yourself you have been stepping into during this time, they see it and they feel something warm about it that they don't have full permission to feel because of the story they've told. But the feeling exists anyway. They are proud of you in the way that you're proud of someone who meant something real to you. In the way that you can't fully root against someone even when a part of you knows it might be easier to feel nothing. They want good things for you. Even inside of all their complexity, even inside of whatever confusion or hurt or ego is also present, they genuinely want good things for your life. And that is not nothing. In fact, in the full picture of what this reading is showing, that might be one of the most significant things. Because you cannot consistently hold that kind of warmth for someone and also be over them. Those two things do not coexist. Let me go deeper now because the energy is pulling me into something more intimate. There are moments, specific, recurring moments, when this person feels your absence physically. Not emotionally, not mentally, but in their body. The kind of absence that you feel when something that was a constant presence in your life suddenly isn't there anymore and your nervous system doesn't know how to recalibrate. They reach for a habit that was tied to you and you're not there. They find themselves in a moment where instinct says turn to that person, and then the reality of the situation catches up and there's this quiet, sharp sting. And in those moments they are not performing. They are not thinking about the story they told or who might be watching. In those moments it is just them and the truth of what they feel. And the truth is raw and it is tender and it is not done. I feel like some of you have felt this person's energy in your own body too. Like a sudden wave of emotion that came from nowhere. A dream you didn't expect. A thought that landed so clearly it didn't feel like it originated from you. That's real. That is the energetic connection between two people who are not finished yet, even if the surface of things says otherwise. Now, here's what I think you need to hear as we move toward the close of this reading. Because everything I've said so far has been about them, and I want to end with something that's actually about you. You are not small in this situation. I don't care how it's been framed, I don't care what narrative got put out there. I don't care what anyone around you believes about what happened or who was wrong or what this was or wasn't. Your energy in this reading is not the energy of someone who was simply left behind. It is the energy of someone who is being returned to. Maybe not today, maybe not in the way you expected or the timeline you wanted. But the energy of this situation is circling back. This person is circling. Their thoughts are circling. The feelings are circling. They are moving like water that has no choice but to find its level. And where does water return? To the place of least resistance. To the place that felt like home. You are their home. Even if they've been sleeping outside of it, claiming they don't miss the warmth. The body knows. The soul knows. The middle of the night knows. And for those of you who are in a place of genuine peace right now, who have done your work, who have grown through this, who have arrived somewhere solid within yourself regardless of how this turns out, I want you to hear this too. Your peace is not invisible. Your growth is not wasted. Every single thing you have built within yourself during this time is real, and it is yours, and nobody, not this person, not the outcome of this situation, not any external thing, can touch it. You did that. And whoever comes into your life, whether this person finds their way back or someone entirely new arrives, they will be meeting you at a higher level. A fuller level. A more grounded, more knowing version of you. And that is worth something enormous. You didn't just survive whatever this was. You expanded because of it. Quietly, powerfully, without anyone needing to give you permission or credit for it. And the universe sees every bit of that. So to wrap this up, because the energy has delivered what it needed to deliver today, here is the summary of what came through. This person is not over you. They are not as far as they made it look. The announcement was protection. The distance is a cover for something much more unresolved. They think about you in private moments they won't talk about publicly. They feel regret about at least one specific thing. They have a complicated pride about watching you move forward. And they are, somewhere underneath all the performance of it, still very much attached to the thread of what existed between you. What you do with that is yours to decide. You owe nobody a particular response or a particular feeling about what I've shared today. But I do want you to walk away from this reading knowing that you are not imagining things. You were not naive. You were not wrong for feeling what you felt or for believing what you believed about this connection. The energy confirms it. Now take that and protect your peace. Protect your growth. Stay in your power. Because whether this person finds the courage to close the gap or not, you are going to be okay. More than okay. You are going to be extraordinary. And somewhere, in their most honest moments, they already know that too. That is your reading for today. Take everything that resonated and leave behind anything that didn't. If this connected with you, you know what to do. I'll see you in the next one.